Chapter 28 The Rose. The Rose. There was a rose among many thorns in the garden of the king's house. The beautiful rose appeared on the very day the king's wife disappeared, and every morning the king would look out at the rose and weep. Knights were sent out day and night to search for the queen, but despite looking everywhere, she could not be found. One morning, looking upon the rose, the king noticed droplets of water cloaking the petals like tears. He was deeply touched, thinking, "As I weep, the rose cries with me." It was quite mysterious, especially as the season for roses was drawing to an end, yet this one continued to bloom. One day, as he went outside to look at the rose, he paused when he saw one of the maids looking at the flower. He watched as the maid talked to the rose and laughed at it. Why would a person laugh at such an amazing rose, he thought. He felt very upset by the maid's behavior. Over the next week, the king saw the maid speak often to the rose, and overheard her saying to it that she would never be a queen again. Distressed by this, he began to wonder, is this woman a witch, and is the rose my queen? His mind was in chaos as he fought off the thoughts. No, he finally decided, the maid is just crazy talking to the plant. Time passed, and the king was surprised to realize he was growing very fond of the maid. Fondness grew into attraction, and soon he planned to make her his queen. When the morning of their wedding arrived, the king saw that the rose was withering, and droplets of tears were flowing from it with a sobbing sound. He was deeply saddened to see the rose beginning to die, and wishing to hold it, he reached out his hand to pull it close, only to be cut by the thorns. Blood dripped from his hand onto the rose. The spell was broken, and the rose immediately turned back into his lost queen. Overjoyed, he asked his dear wife what had happened, and she told him that the maid was indeed a witch. Wanting the king for herself, the witch had cast a powerful spell to place the queen as a rose amongst thorns. The king sent an order to find and apprehend the maid, but she was nowhere to be found. All they did find was a black withered rose in her bedroom. When the king had shed his blood for his beloved queen, not only had the spell broken, it also had been reversed, sending the evil back to the witch and releasing his beloved wife forever. Jesus can save those in sin who are under Satan's spell.